Welcome to today's show. I'm Taylor Schroll. Today, Father Anthony and I have a fantastic conversation about what the heck lay people are supposed to be doing at Mass. I have some suggestions, and I think they're probably wrong. Father Anthony tries to help me out. I almost pass out from laughing so hard towards the end of this episode. So please make it all the way to the end. Wherever you are watching or listening, please hit subscribe. Enjoy. Hello there, and welcome to Forte Catholic. I'm Taylor Schroll, and that's a priesty boy. The organ pipes are piping. What's up, man?
Whenever the weather changes, it's recently got very hot and humid, our organ freaks out. So it'll just start playing a random note in the middle of Mass. So that happened last week. So that's what I thought about. It just went like in the middle of Mass for no reason. So that was
Does
fun.
it do it only during Mass? Or I was imagining it was happening outside of Mass. You're just walking by the church and God just sends a note at you. No.
No,
Come in or go away.
Yeah. I don't know what you're trying to say. No, you have to turn the organ on to make this thing happen. So, yeah.
I'm just
Mass,
walking outside your church, and I just hear bomb, 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 bomb. Oh no! I think I need to go to confession, but somewhere else.
Yeah, definitely somewhere else.
Oh man! So, speaking of seasons and confessions, I have thought about you a lot recently because I think I have the opposite of what you have 6 months ago.
Okay.
When it gets really cold in Pittsburgh in the winter, you get a you get a disease. What is that disease called?
The flu?
No, it's more about your mind.
Dementia?
Yes, you get dementia every Christmas season, and then you're miraculously healed in the summer. Silly boy. The seasonal
COVID.
Gosh, you're literally talking about this every time. It says the word "sad" in the acronym. See, now you know what I'm talking about. It's pissing me off. Seasonal depression because you can't go outside your house.
Yeah, that's just called living on the East Coast.
I've decided that I too have seasonal depression because the last 3 years, right around this time, I get seasonally depressed because I can't go outside either. It is so miserable outside. I'm like, why am I so grumpy all the time? I'm like, it's hot.
It's hot. I can't do anything. I'm dying.
Yesterday, so it's it's not just the heat. It's been annoying. Literally yesterday. There's this whole saga that our house floods whenever it rains. You've heard of this, yes? So
yes.
It just hasn't come up in a while because we got it fixed. We spent thousands of dollars, and we had a landscaping company come in and put 2 basins, and it drains out to the road, and everything was fine until 15 inches of rain fell in Bryan College Station about a month ago. And about 14 of it got into my house in one more location. So essentially you've been here, but other people can picture it, right? There's the street, and then there's our driveway, and right at the driveway, there's a drain. And then about 20 feet back, there's another drain. And about 10 feet past that, this was one of the few times that I've been home during the deluge of rain. So I'm the crazy, insane person standing outside. I've never been more wet in my life, and I've been swimming multiple times. That's how much it was raining outside. And I'm standing outside in inches of water while lightning is striking in my neighborhood because I'm like, I gotta figure this out. I'm tired of water coming in my house. So I'm standing out there, and there is we had a pool put in. Not really. It was just God had the pool put in, and it was about 10 feet away from where this last drain is. So I had these guys come in. Supposed to be a simple job. The first job was thousands of dollars. The second job was just an extension, and I didn't call them to put in. I didn't say, I'd like you to put in a basin and this many feet. I said, I want you to make it stop having water come in my house. That was the problem I was trying to solve. So
yes, sure.
They were very nice. They were like, look, you'll just pay for the hours. We'll pay a couple $100 and we'll put the second basin in. That was 2.5 years ago. Not a single drop of water has come into my house that hasn't just been my tears every summer because I'm sad. But like we were like, look, the guy came out last week and he's like, look, once again, just do a few $100. We'll come out. We'll knock this out. We'll just extend it. Like, I'm not going to dig all the way to the street. It's going to make it easier for us and cheaper for you. I'm like, perfect. So they're going to put it about 15 feet away from where the other basin is. They're just going to lock one line to the other line and be done, right? They dig the holes. They dig the hole for the basin. They dig the trench for the thing. And literally the last thing they have to do is an hour and 15-minute job. And an hour and 12 minutes in, they're cutting the tube to connect to the new tube, right? To put a little splicer in. And literally on the last cut, they hit our gas line. And dude, you've smelled gas. Like maybe everybody's like maybe left it on after you cook eggs or something. That's the most confusing thing. I did that about a month and a half ago. You're cooking eggs so the house smells like eggs, and then you leave the gas on. You're like, why does it still smell like eggs an hour later? Oh, I'm actively dying. Like that. That's what's happening.
Exactly. Yes.
Well, we almost did actively die yesterday because they had to call. This was on Sunday. So not a day that people are, wanting to work, right? And the entire gas company comes to our house. And at first they were like, they just send like a guy to come and like see the situation. Like the landscapers call, they're like, yeah, it's leaking like crazy. I still thought, Anthony, that like their power tools were on because I'm standing inside my house and all I hear is that it wasn't a power tool. That was gas leaving our gas line. It was
holy
insane.
Smokes. That's so dangerous.
I immediately evacuate my wife and kids. We walk out to the front of I'm like, go to Sonic. That's literally what I told her. That's how I deal. I'm like, go away. And the first thing I thought of was Sonic because that's where they've been going and spending all of my money this summer is at Sonic. So go to Sonic. Just go. I don't even care. Just get away from here so that you're not dead. And if I die, you can hopefully find a new husband at Sonic. That was the whole plan. So they get there and they're like, yeah, this is bad. I'm like, I know, I understand. And then, so we go inside to test the house. And this is on the farthest left side of my house. The farthest right side of my house, there's a bathroom. And he goes and he tests this thing. And he's like, yeah, there's gas like under the house. My house could have exploded at any point. He's like, yeah, it's getting worse. So he's like, essentially, there's an entire pocket of gas just building up under your house. And I'm like, cool, I'm gonna go sit in the front yard. Like I've just given up. And I've been sad for weeks because of how hot it is outside. Anthony, I stood outside for 6 hours yesterday because my house was going to explode. And then when they finally said we could go back in the house, I didn't explode. I'm still here. I don't know if that's a spoiler alert, but this isn't an AI Taylor that Father Anthony was like, I heard Taylor died. Let's do an AI podcast.
Yes.
Come back inside. The first thing they made us do was turn off the air conditioning. So I come back inside and the inside of my house is 85 degrees. I'm like, this is just the lovely Sunday I was looking for. I was going to play video games, do some housework, and watch the Astros play. I did none of those things. And ironically enough, the things that I was going to do housework inside because the previous week and a half, all I had been doing was working on the yard outside. Now my yard's completely torn up. I love everything. It's so great. I'm doing so well. Thanks for asking.
I'm really glad you didn't explode.
Thank you.
That's good. Yeah. Is St. Joseph still buried in your yard somewhere? Did you ever bury him?
He exploded.
That's a real bad sign.
No, he's not. He's sitting literally right under your face, which is funny. So just technically how this works, there's a camera in front of me. Your face is right behind me. He's literally sitting where I can see him, and he's staring at me and going, meh, 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 meh.
He is. That's the problem. This is the problem. If you just buried that guy, you wouldn't have any of these problems.
Anthony, I'm not burying anything. I'm never making a hole in my ground.
Never digging a hole ever again.
I'm not burying a thing. I'm not burying anything. I'm just going to go outside, chuck him into the neighbor's yard, and watch their house catch on fire. Oh, man. I this is cathartic because I've been incredibly upset for days now, and now I'm just laughing at my neighbor's house catching on fire because I chucked a Saint Anthony, or Saint Anthony, you're Anthony, a Saint Joseph statue at them. I'm doing swell.
Yeah, I can tell. Yeah, definitely mentally healthy right now. I can tell. It's good.
Very mentally healthy. To the point where I was sitting in Mass the other day, and I have questions about Mass today. Eventually, we'll get to how you're doing. But
sure.
I was sitting in Mass the other day, and the only thing, usually I take notes, either for my own spiritual edification, or if I have questions, or just content for the show. Like that's, I'm sitting in Mass. It's the holiest thing I do every week. Okay, let's go for it, right? And the only thought I had in Mass was I had been watching some stand-up comedy, and I would just read to you verbatim the note that I took down. Because usually I'm just so tired of Christians being passive aggressive. I would just rather you just be aggressive. This goes back to last week's episode with Chris. So, have you ever heard the thing like, I'm a good Christian, so I'm not going to say what I want to say? And then you say something incredibly mean or whatever. You've heard that? Have you heard that as a phrase? Is that
I'm not sure if it's a Christian thing or a Southern Christian thing.
Okay. So this is literally the only note that I have from, let's see what date this was. June 22nd. So this was on a Sunday. I wrote this note down. I'm a good Christian, so I'm not going to say what I want to say, but I think you should die in a fire. That's what I wrote down.
Yeah, that's
I'm not going to say what I really want to say, but to tone it down, I'd like you to die in a fire.
Yeah, that's those are feelings.
How are you?
I'm better, I guess. Probably better. So a couple of weeks ago, my parish youth group had their mission week. So a lot of times people in mission week, they go to either Appalachia or somewhere else and they do work and stuff. We went up north to actually really close to one of my old assignments up in Newcastle, PA. And there's like this kind of like campground / reception area. It's very nice. There's a lake and stuff. So we camp out there. I say camp, they're like cabins and stuff. And they go to different work sites in the area because it's a poorer area and that kind of thing. And the youth minister really wanted me to go to this thing. Now, in previous years, we had combined with other parishes, and one of their priests stuck around all week. I just showed up for confessions. This year, the other parish.
Wait, what did you say the other priest did?
He would stay there the entire week.
What did you say?
And I would just go in for. I think that's what I said.
I'm worried about what you said. Everybody listening can go back 30 seconds, but whatever.
Or just edit to make it better. So anyway, there'd be a priest there who would stay there all week. Came from the other parish, and I would just kind of show up for confessions. I knew that the other parish had backed out. I didn't realize that meant that they didn't have a priest for the week. So some months ago, the youth minister calls me in for a meeting. I'm like, oh, sure, I'll have a meeting. I knew it was going to be about...
They can call you in for a meeting?
Ask to have a meeting with me. I acquiesced.
There you
and,
go. That's better.
Yeah.
I was like, golly, this guy's bold.
Yeah, no. So she calls me in, and I'm thinking like, okay, I'm going to have to go to this thing. It's fine. It'll be fine, whatever. But she had this whole thing prepared. She had a bowl of candy at the desk there, at the table there. And it wasn't just any kind of candy. It was all my favorite candy. Apparently, she had called my brother and done research about what kind of candy I like.
Oh my gosh.
And then she had this whole PowerPoint presentation of why this would be beneficial to myself, my spirituality, and to the teens and to the parish. And it was done in a kind of joking way. And it was her way because she doesn't like confrontation or, making big asks or whatever. So she did this to like kind of be of a fun thing. But it made me feel like a garbage person that my youth minister has to bribe me and set up a whole presentation so that I do regular priest stuff. Not her intent, but how I felt. Anyway.
Yes, I often feel like garbage when people do nice things for me too. There's something that's why you and I connect so well.
I also got problems. I've got all kinds of problems. So like, why would you? Anyway, so we get there, and my plan was I will go to like different sites every day and kind of do work with the kids. I bought some like lighter weight pants and stuff to do outdoors work, all this kind of stuff. I'm ready to go. First day, they all head out to their work sites. I'm like, okay, I'll just lay down for a second in my cabin and I'll pray morning prayer. Then I'll figure out where I'm going. I fell asleep for 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I was just out.
So then you did afternoon prayer and fell asleep.
Yes.
And then you did that prayer.
basically. It was like, oh my gosh, I am so exhausted. And I really felt this is genuine. I really felt like the Lord was like, no, take this time for a retreat. I didn't have a retreat planned this year because I'm stupid. And so basically from like 9 to 5, I spent that time in retreat.
Praying 9 to 5.
Yeah, it was very good. There's a nice lake there. I took walks. I prayed really good for the first time in a while. And it was like, and in the afternoon, I said mass for the kids. I hung out with them, gave talks once in a while, played ultimate frisbee, blew out both of my knees. Apparently, I can't walk to this day. It's been like 2 weeks. I can't walk because the first time I ran
was a
in
great time. I can't walk.
5 years.
Great.
That being said, I can still throw a frisbee with the best of them. I was decent. I was a good quarterback in ultimate frisbee, if you will.
I'm gonna sit running around. I'll throw it to me.
That's exactly. After like the first third of the game, I was like all blown up. I couldn't run anymore. It's like I can throw the disc every once in a while. Anyway, it was a great week. So I had the time for retreat. Got to like. It's always nice.
I would have called you grandfather Anthony.
Yeah.
Why isn't that a thing for our older priests? We stopped calling people Monsignor because of like, I don't know why. So we should start calling them grandfather.
Yes, we should. I think it's delightful. But what was I saying about that? But yeah, it was great. And I'm 36. I am getting older day by day, year by year. But it's still nice to every once in a while actually minister to people who are younger than me. Like it feels much more natural. Like when like a teen calls me father, it makes more sense on a certain level. When it is, 80-year-old lady calls me father, it's fine. She sees me as a spiritual father. That's great. But you know what I mean? It's nice to do that kind of ministry. So I got to do that, and it was a great time. So I'm still riding the high off of that. Is
the high from the painkillers that they gave you after your double knee surgery?
I do need painkillers or something. Like literally, like walking downstairs, I feel like an old person. I don't know what's going on. It's bad. For like last week.
Yeah, and I would ask, have you seen somebody about it? But I know that you haven't. So.
Obviously not. It feels slightly better today, so I'm sure it's going to be fine.
That's all I'm going to focus on from your story.
Walking hurts, but that's fine.
Yeah,
it's not a big deal that walking hurts.
Incredibly worried for you.
I'm like going down the stairs using both the handrails like an old person.
Yeah, that's not how stairs work, grandfather Anthony. Jeez Louise, go see a doctor.
Nah, I'm sure it'll be good. I'll do some squats tomorrow. Loosen them up. It'll be fine.
That's not how that works. It's all paid for. You have the best health insurance in the world. Use it.
I do have really good health insurance.
I know you do because you're a priest. We're like, we're not going to pay you, but we're going to make sure you don't die because we really need you.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, that's me. Everything's good except my knees.
Good. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. So if we're talking about physical things, I wasn't even going to bring this up, but remember how last summer I had shingles out of nowhere and I was the youngest person ever to have shingles? Yeah, it's back.
No,
I don't know, man. I don't know. I just can't win for losing. Every time I do something good, bad things happen. So it is training me to do bad things.
See, this is a thing. Like, this is why I'm okay with my knees hurting because all my friends are getting old people diseases now. Mm-hmm. Like, I have a friend who's got gout now. He's my age. You've got shingles again. Like, I should have something wrong with me, and it's going to be my knees. So it's all fine. It's all normal.
Yeah, my seasonal depression and shingles every summer, and I can't go outside.
That's legitimately pretty miserable. That's a rough time.
I'm just so annoyed. So I have questions about the Jesus because I'm just annoyed in my life. So I haven't gone into a mass in a good mood or come out of a mass in good mood in a month. I'm miserable. And like to the point where I'm like, I'm at the point where I'm like, I don't even know if I ever knew how to pray. Like I can't do it. I don't know what I'm doing. And like I'm looking around mass. Like I was literally sitting in mass this past week. And I didn't go this past weekend because I have shingles and I couldn't stand it. The previous week, I was sitting in mass and just looking around at everybody. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Like to the point where like I know when to sit, stand, and kneel and say the things and sing when you're supposed to sing. But like, I don't know if I've ever known what to do in mass. Like they're like full active participation. And I'm like, am I supposed to be rattling off prayers in my head like I'm trying to sell something at an auction? Am I supposed to just be sitting down and shutting up? Because that's typically what I do, but I don't know if I'm supposed to be bringing more to the table, because I literally bring nothing to Mass. I'm just like, I'm here. I'm going to listen as attentively as I can. Now, I might check the scores every now and then, but as attentively as I can. But I'm like, what else am I supposed to be doing?
Yeah, no, that's a good question, because there is a lot of Mass where you're just kind of sitting and listening. I mean, that's most of the first part, right? You know, after the Gloria and Kyrie and all that jazz. So pray along with those as you're saying the words the best that you can. Then you listen to the readings the best that you can. For, you know, younger parents, you're probably just trying to keep your kids occupied. So that's going to take up most of your time. But your kids are older now. I assume they don't cause as many problems as they used to.
They don't.
So you kind of, yeah.
They're old enough to understand what a death stare is.
Yes, exactly. They have some sense of self-preservation now, whereas 3-year-olds do not. Yeah. And it is a difficult thing because Mass doesn't change all that much Sunday to Sunday. You know, other than the readings and blink if you miss it, a few of the priest prayers. And that can be difficult, that kind of repetition, because you can get really used to it. It happens for me as a priest. A lot of times, you know, I'm saying the prayers, and even my tone of voice probably sounds rather reverent, but my mind is just not paying attention to what I'm doing. Like, it's so easy to go on autopilot. I imagine that's just as difficult for someone who's sitting in the pews. Like, it's so easy for your mind just to go on autopilot. And some of that's okay. People oftentimes confess to me that they're distracted at Mass, okay? And they freak out about it. And for the most part, I tell them not to freak out, because our brains are dumb. We have these weird monkey brains that do not like paying attention to stuff. They're going from thought to thought to thought. And a lot of times that's not a choice. Like, you getting distracted isn't something you actively choose. It's something that just happens. And you're not a bad person for getting distracted at Mass. There's a difference between finding yourself getting distracted. All of a sudden you realize, oh, I haven't been paying attention. There's a difference between that, and let's use a random example. There's a difference between that and being like, I'm bored at Mass. I need to check the scores of this baseball game. Like, the second one, that's not good. That's your fault. You know,
I think baseball scores would be a sin because it's slow moving. But things like basketball and football, there's more scoring. So I think that's okay.
Okay, different levels of sin, maybe. Yeah. And so, like, when someone gets distracted, I just thought, like, don't beat yourself up, because that just gets yourself even more distracted. Because you get distracted and you're upset with yourself for being distracted. And then stop. Whatever. Your brain isn't good. Get used to that. Just kind of gently bring yourself back to what's going on. So basically, for Mass, you know, what you do is when you're saying the words, try to think about what the words mean. When you're listening to the words, try to listen to what the words mean. And Mass is kind of something you do. So if it's not super contemplative, that's okay. That's Mass. Mass is more of an active sort of thing, believe it or not. The biggest thing, if you're not getting a lot of Mass, in my experience, and working with other people, it's because if your only prayer that week was the Mass, it's going to be very hard to pray the Mass. It's the more you pray day to day, the more fulfilling Mass becomes. So that's the other thing.
I hear that, and I think there's part of it. So I'm like, a third of me feels better, a third of me is encouraged, and a third of me is still trying to figure out what's going on. So the encouraging part is that like I've never heard anybody say that Mass isn't a contemplative experience. And I think I look around at the people that are way holier than me and way more contemplative than me, and I just feel this in general about their life. I just think contemplative people are way holier than me. That's just how I'm wired. But like, I see other people being contemplative in Mass, and I'm like, that's what I should be doing. And I don't know how. Like, I don't know how to feel. I don't know how to feel that. I don't know how to do that. Right. So that part's encouraging to hear. The part where I'm still like, so it's interesting because it's this back and forth of like, I've been so discouraged at Mass. Like, I don't feel like I've been distracted. I feel like I've been just dead inside at Mass every Sunday. Like, I sit there, and it's kind of like, you know how like when you drive for an hour and you don't remember how you got there. You don't remember merging into traffic. You don't remember turning right. You don't remember checking your phone and looking at the scores. You don't remember any of that stuff from your hour drive. Like, that's how Mass has been for me. It's like, I did the stuff. It just felt like a huge nothing burger, right? Which like, so like, but the part that I think is an interesting challenge is my prayer life in general has just been shoddy all summer, right? But I think a lot of it is, I think what you're saying is true. If it's the only time I'm praying, then it's not going to be it's not going to be a good prayer at Mass. But I think what has happened, I think the reason I stopped praying as much outside of Mass, because I'm like, I go to the source and summit and feel nothing. Why would I do anything else? So it's almost like working backwards of what you're suggesting. I'm not saying you're wrong, but just practically and like sequentially, that's kind of how it's happened. Like, I went to the source and summit, I received Jesus and felt nothing. Why would I pray morning prayer on a Tuesday? Like why would I do that?
No, I see where you're going with that. And it's because there are different kinds of prayer. And like I said, like, there are times when like there are moments of
good
silence.
and bad, and I do the bad kind.
Yeah. I'm not, maybe, but let's put that on pause for a second. The bad prayer is wishing that this person would his house is burned down in the fire.
Die in a fire, yes. Gotcha.
So yeah. There are moments where maybe someone can enter into a little bit of contemplation at Mass, moments of silence. If that happens, that's great. That's a gift. But really, that's not what Mass is going to be about more often. Like I said, Mass is a more active kind of prayer. And yes, it's the source in some of our faith, the Eucharist being the source in some of our faith. And from that, everything flows. But it's like, if there's a fountain, but like there's no other streams for the water to go down, we don't have a chance to receive it. It's like it's like the water is all piling up in your house instead of going into the drains, and the drains are your prayer during the week. Your
if I pray, my house is going to explode. That's what just happened if I prayed. Oh no.
This is the problem with metaphors in you, Taylor. You think so deeply or weirdly about metaphors, it makes it very hard to use them on your podcast. Yeah, just because, and also how you feel in prayer, and this is a very difficult thing for everybody, for myself included. How you feel in prayer is not necessarily a good indicator of what prayer is like. Now, there'll be some people who like try to downplay feelings completely, like prayer is not about feelings, love's not about feelings. Sure, that's true, but if you're never feeling good in prayer, if you're never feeling consolation in prayer, that's a sign that something's off, that something's wrong. Like, yeah, love isn't just about feelings, but if you never feel like you love your wife, then like something has gone horribly wrong in that relationship.
If I have to choose to love her at every moment, it's not going very well.
Yeah. There are times for discipline, times where you made a promise. That happens in every relationship. But like, if it's never there, then like something's up. So one, you don't want to put too much emphasis on your feelings, but you do want to be attentive to them. So yeah, a lot of times Mass might not be the most like magical, consoling experience. Sometimes it's just very ordinary. But you need that time during the week so that the source and summit can kind of flow into all the other aspects of your life instead of just being balled up once a week. Is kind of how I would say that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you're right. I know you're right. It's just frustrating. Video games are way more fun.
Video games are way easier than prayer. That's
yeah. Okay. Thank you, first of all. We're going to pivot to another topic, but also involving Mass. This is another weird place where my brain went during Mass. Okay.
Love it.
The Feast of Corpus Christi. I'm still bothered by it. I'm so bothered on Corpus Christi. You got to listen to last week's episode to understand the full context. But there's still another part of it that I'm bothered by. So, you and I had a conversation years ago about how people, you and I's age, tend to have for better or worse, we don't have to relitigate the whole thing, but like we tend to have holier experiences in adoration than Mass, because like a lot of times our big experiences growing up were in adoration, but you know, Mass is the source of summit, so we got to get back to Mass stuff. So one of the big things that people started doing, or I think really going back to how it was supposed to be, but this whole idea of adoration is supposed to stem from the Mass. Like we're supposed to go from Mass into adoration, and then then it's perpetual for the week, or it's like closed, you do benediction, and it's done. Is that correct?
I mean, I would say it also goes both ways. I would say adoration should lead toward the Mass as well. Like adoration could be a good way to get yourself ready for the Mass as well. So I think it kind of goes both ways. Okay. So I would add to that. Yeah,
perfectly fair. And like practically, I like that, right? Because like just mentally, it's like, okay, that's the Jesus that I'm adoring, and I'm going to receive him at the end of this.
Yeah,
Mass, right?
That makes more sense. I mean, I like that better because it's always weird because it'll happen. Like you'll have Mass and somebody's adoration afterwards. It's like, this is fine, but I have Jesus in my belly. Like, why do I need to go to adoration now?
That's
sometimes how I feel.
100% the point that I'm trying to make. 100% the point that I'm trying to make. Because I love adoration. I already explained earlier, Mass is hard for me. It's always been hard for me. It just is, right? Adoration's great. I don't think I've ever had a negative experience in adoration. I don't think I've ever walked into adoration and walked away feeling pissed off, which I do 50% of Masses. I just, it's great, right? For better or worse, it kind of is what it is. That's just the reality of my life. So there's one time, all the liturgical people, because I go and I work with retreats, and I'm often doing music or emceeing or speaking for like retreats and conferences and stuff, and like all the liturgy people at every diocese are like, if you're gonna do adoration at our conference, it has to be right after Mass. Like it has to like go from the Mass, and you consecrate that host, and then that's the adoration. So they want it to be like directly back to back. We're usually able to argue them down. We're like, look, it's kids. Attention spans are very short. We blame the kids for our attention spans. We just don't want to do it, but we blame the kids, So like a lot of times we'll do like Mass and then dinner and then like talk and then adoration. Like, kind of to at least make it a little bit more like it's at least within a 2 or 3 hour window.
Yeah.
Every liturgy person I've ever heard in my entire life says that adoration has to stem from the Mass. The one time in my entire life that I don't want to do adoration? Right after Mass. It's the one time that I don't want to do it. I'm like, exactly what you said. I've received him. I don't know if I've prayed for an hour, but I've done something for the Lord for an hour. I'm done. I need a break. Like typically Mass is right before food time. I'm done. I'm done. And so we did. I love our pastor and I love the liturgical things he does. I walked out of Mass technically early because he held me hostage because he wouldn't give me the final blessing for Corpus Christi. He's like, we're going to do adoration as a parish. I'm like, nope, it's 12:15. It started at 11 a.m. Mass. I haven't eaten today. Deuces. It's the only time I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I'm blaming him for my sin of leaving Mass early, I guess. Even though, can you leave a Mass early if it's supposed to be an hour and it's an hour and 15 minutes and he does not, he just refuses to give the final blessing? Is that a sin? I don't think
it is. There's a lot going on here. There are levels of things that are going on here.
I love these situations with you. It's so much fun.
Yeah. It's okay. So normally when people talk about like doing a retreat and having adoration after Mass, usually in my experience, there's a very practical reason for that. You're at a location that's not a church. If you want to have adoration, you have to have the Eucharist. You can't have the Eucharist until you first have Mass, right? And I'm not sure the exact reasoning for this, but usually it's like inappropriate to just transport the Eucharist for the sole purpose of adoration. Is that usually like you don't want to do that because the idea of bringing the Eucharist somewhere is to give it to the sick, and you don't want to kind of bring the Eucharist around as kind of like a just to look at kind of deal is kind of the argument. And maybe I'm not doing it justice, but whatever. But if you're at a place like at the retreat I was at, we had a chapel set up. I brought a tabernacle. I got permission from the pastor in that area to do this thing. But someone asked me, is the chapel fully operational? No, because there's no Jesus there. We have to say Mass first. I'm not going to just transport Jesus to a tabernacle. We'll say Mass, then it makes sense to bring him to the tabernacle after Mass. Cool. So that's the only kind of like liturgical
I don't want him in the car.
It's just, it seems undignified just to carry him around. I don't know. I'm not as big on this, but there are a lot of people who are big on this. They have reasonings that
Have you ever read
I
the
don't
Old
understand.
Testament?
I have read the Old Testament, or at least
The
parts of
the
it.
whole thing is they carry around the tabernacle. It's literally where we got tabernacle.
It's a different kind of tabernacle. It's different. Anyway, and we also, so I know where you're going with it. But anyway, so that's my understanding of why you had to have Mass first. I genuinely feel awkward when I'm leaving Mass and I genuflect to the tabernacle. Like, it's 15 minutes after Mass. Why am I genuflecting to the tabernacle? The way I reason it out is like, what if someone's in the church who doesn't know that I was just at Mass? Or like, you want to like increase, it's good practice to have the practice of genuflecting to the tabernacle so that everyone gets in the habit of doing that. So for the sake of habits, for the sake of good habits, I genuflect to the tabernacle. It seems silly to do it when it's in me, but I can understand why you would do it for the sake of appearances. Sure. That's kind of my understanding of it. And, Jesus is in me, but he's also there too. So, okay, fine. Not a big deal. With Corpus Christi, it's interesting because I have to look at the note. But in the Missal, it talks about having either a procession, it might say adoration afterwards, because it's a special feast day for the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Jesus Christ. And when you do that right after Mass, you don't do the final blessing. You go right into this thing. You do the final. That's just how it works liturgically, because it's all part of one big liturgy now. I can understand, not knowing that was going on, feeling held captive. And like leaving at that point in time, like, you've fulfilled your Sunday obligation. Fine. You're not actually leaving Mass early, I would say, in that case. Fine. I know for me, and this is a personal thing, like, when it's time to leave, it's time to leave. And when people like say, hey, it's time to go, and we don't leave immediately, I start to freak out.
Yes,
like, I lose
that's
my
100%
mind.
what I was feeling. I was like, no,
pure, like,
it's time to go.
It's time to go. You can't just not go when you say it's time to go, right? It's just like, I get that on a personal level. But the idea is that, like, okay, we're going to take extra time. Like, think about it this way. Sometimes people get upset when people do the St. Michael the Archangel prayer after Mass. Because people say, like, we just had Mass. Jesus was present. Do we need an extra prayer to get rid of demons? It seems like you're trying to say that the Eucharist isn't good enough. My argument against that is the Mass isn't about sufficiency. The Mass isn't about good enough. The Mass is actually about superabundance, that we receive even more than we deserve, even more than we can accept. And doing adoration or a St. Michael's prayer afterwards, this is about superabundance. This is about extra. This is about more is more. And there's nothing wrong with that if you do it every once in a while. So that's kind of my understanding of, it's the feast day. We're going to have some extra time for prayer, extra time to adore the Blessed Sacrament. It's easier in a certain sense to pray. It can be, for some people, easier to pray and honor the Blessed Sacrament when you get to look at it, right? Because we know it's in us, and that's absolutely true. And you can pray like that. People pray after Mass, and it's a very special time of prayer. But at the same time, there's something like helpful about having a place to focus your eyeballs at times. And so maybe that's part of the thing too. So this is me taking a stab at the whole thing. Why we do it? I think the real answer why we do it is because, it's Eucharist Day. Let's have more Eucharist. I'm pretty sure that's probably all the thinking that goes into it. Is my like gut instinct,
It annoyed me because they literally had a procession Saturday morning at 8 a.m., which who from my family do you think went to that?
Oh, probably your wife.
And?
Your daughters?
No.
Your son?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
And you were almost right by saying daughters. Instead of grouping them by gender, you should have grouped them by age. So my wife and the oldest two kids went, and me and the baby stayed here and played video games because
Delightful.
I'm not going to process outside at 8 a.m. because that's early. And have I mentioned how hot it is outside? I'm just not doing it. I can love Jesus from in here. Okay. So then I was like, okay, we did our Corpus Christi thing, and then we did the sequence, and man,
sure.
It says sequence optional.
Yeah.
It should, if you're not a great singer, and if nobody's ever told you you're a great singer, you should read that optional part. I'll move on. So there's nothing worse than a badly sung sequence. There's just, we're all just sitting there listening to you, and I'm just like, ooh.
Yeah, like this is not helpful.
I just picture Simon Cowell in my head. No. I almost started singing out loud, Hallelujah! Hallelujah! Let's get the ball rolling, right?
See if you can force it. Yeah.
Just like the same way that after Mass, I almost said, the Mass is ended! Go in peace! Even though I'm not a deacon, I don't have a mustache. So, last little thing, before I get to the final point that I'm building up to, I haven't even reached my final form yet.
Yikes.
You're going to love my final form. Last little thing about being trapped. The week before, so I have to give a little bit more context other than literally the whole context of everything in my life sucks. And that's the context you need, right? The week before, I had one of the wildest experiences of something that most Catholics have experienced. Most Catholics experience this. It's a 1 second, 2 second awkwardness, and then you figure it out, right? The only people sitting in our pews the week before was my family of 5 in the middle, and one person on the end, and 2 people on the other end, and lots of space in between us. We finish Mass, and we've already decided, once the priest says it's time to go, it's time to go. The next week, I'm not even waiting for that. Once it's time to go, it's time to go. And both these, this couple and this other person did something that they're fully obliged to do. It is, I've mentioned multiple times, it's not my thing to pray after Mass because I already gave my hour 15 minutes to the Lord. It's time to move on to other things. I can give other times throughout the week if I would like, but I'm done for now. It's time to go eat and watch sports, right? Like that's what the end of Mass means. Okay. They did something that they have the right to do. They knelt down to pray after Mass on both sides of us. No exit. So there's 5 people, me, my wife, and my 3 kids, and we look like, you ever, like a flock of birds whenever they're videoing them, and their heads are just going left, right, left, right, left, right, constantly. That's us for a solid 3 or 4 minutes, which doesn't sound like a long time. In this situation, it's an eternity. I'm like, are you that contemplative and in tune with the Lord that you forget humanity exists? How do you not notice and go, oh, you can go out and then kneel down to pray? I don't understand. I don't understand how people are this holy, and it pisses me off.
A few things about this. One, you could have said, excuse me, and just walked by them. Like you could have been like, excuse me, we're heading out. And they would have moved or not, but like, you can do that. You can say, excuse me, and move. Why wasn't that an option?
I don't think I'm allowed to mess with holy people, which is why I mess with you.
Got him. You get it all out. Okay. Also, like, I have an aversion to this idea that because somebody looks holy, they are holy. Like, very often that's not
because
the case.
You look in the
I'm sorry. I look in the mirror. A lot of people think I'm very holy. Like not everyone listens to this podcast.
Forte Catholic. Yeah, exactly.
Most people don't. You know, that's no offense to your listening. Like most people don't. More and more people from my parish do. They find you on YouTube and they're like, "Hey, that's Father Anthony." So hello, parishioners, if you see me. But I know too many priests. I know too many people. I've done too much spiritual direction. I've heard too many confessions. Just because someone looks holy, that don't mean squat. It just doesn't. Maybe they're having some nice.
And my knees hurt for you.
Yeah. Don't mean jack. Don't mean nothing. Right? Like this whole idea, like someone looks holy. Like I've known. Now some people you can sense a kind of holiness about them. That's great. Whatever. But like I've known too many people who like people adore this person or this priest and like think they're the holiest person ever. And like no, that guy is just a prideful jerk and is like showing off. Like now I'm not saying those 2 people were showing off. I'm just saying that we should always be like, hey, if someone looks holy, great, but don't think too much about that because you just don't know. You really don't know. Maybe that was the first time someone had like an opportunity to pray all week and they just wanted to take advantage of it. Maybe, you don't know. So this whole idea of someone looking holy, I'm very against that kind of thing. And you can just say, excuse me, and move by them. In fact, it's good for them.
Weird. It feels so weird.
Actually good. it's good for them. Like, and the different saints will say this, like, if your prayer is interrupted, that's an opportunity for you to grow in holiness. So like, if they're upset by that, turns out they're not that holy. If they are that holy, they're not going to be upset by a family needing to move by them. So either you get to call someone out on the slide for being not so holy, or they're so holy they don't care. They'll just move for you. It'll be fine. So it's a win-win.
I felt awkward about it until this moment. I've just solved it. I'll just tap them on the shoulder and said, "Father said you need to move out of my way," and I won't tell them which.
You can do that. You can name drop me.
Yeah,
you can totally do that.
Who?
I'm fine with that. Father Nunya.
Father Nunya.
Nunya business.
My grandfather said you need to leave, and they'd be like, "What?"
What? It's an old priest. Don't worry about it.
I'm ready to reach my final form.
I'm so scared.
It's one of those things that I think I fully believe this. I know it feels wrong, but everything about Catholic theology says it should be true. You ready for this? It all comes down to the ridiculousness of doing adoration and trapping me after Mass. Okay. Source and Summit's the Mass. I receive Jesus. Then you make me look at him. Why do we need a monstrance in another Eucharist? Why can't I just go stand on the altar and everybody stare at me for 15 minutes?
Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just imagining you going up onto the altar and like lifting your shirt up and like rubbing your belly for like an hour.
I'm not making it a Buddhist temple. It's not going to be a Catholic church. I think I would just stand there awkwardly. We talked about Pope Francis coming out onto the altar on our last month's episode. I would just stand awkwardly on the altar, and I think people would pay more attention. But am I not a vessel holding Jesus for at least, people argue about the minutes, but like 10 to 15, 20 minutes? Can I not? That's how long adoration was going to be anyway after Corpus Christi. Can I just stand there? I'd be more engaged.
I'm gonna say that it's probably a bad idea to have you up there on the altar because it might be confusing for people who don't like. That's a confusing image. Like,
confusing, sure. You still haven't told me it's wrong.
Like.
I've broken you. This is great. This is all I wanted.
This is the yeah. So have you ever told your kids because I said so? As an explanation for
sure.
That is my instinct right now. Just like, Taylor, no.
Not good enough. Not good enough. That's not intellectually satisfying. I'm not a child. I'm a 35-year-old, apparently really fat man that's going to stand on this altar. I don't, like, I know, and I don't know. I feel that it's wrong and awkward. I don't know that it's wrong because everything I've been taught is that I am... Y'all have said it in homilies. I'm now a vessel of the Holy Spirit. I get to be we're like a living monstrance going out into then why do you need to do the whole Eucharist thing? Like that's the awkward thing. Why can't I leave? I can look at my wife and kids who just received Eucharist. Why do I have to stay here? Like, I'm pointing out the ridiculousness of all of this by the mental image of me standing at the altar and having 800 people stare at me for 10 minutes. And then, could you imagine Father trying to pick me up and do the sign of the cross with my body?
Imagine like lifting up like a cheerleader, except it's like Taylor being lifted up. Okay. The reason why that's not a good idea is that it's, when we have a monstrance, it's very easy to tell what you're worshiping. When you have a Taylor, it can be confusing to what you're actually worshiping.
Yeah. That's, we're getting there.
I think that's the reason. Yeah. It's just like, you don't make a good monstrance. It's a shiny thing that's like drawing attention to the center. It's a clear thing that you see the host like, oh yeah, the host, Jesus, I get that. when you have Taylor up there,
say me rubbing my belly because my belly button kind of is the most thing that resembles a monstrance? And that's where Jesus is. He's in my tummy.
Yeah, that's why. That's why. It was because he's in your tummy. And that's...
Oh, man. Oh, I'm so glad your parishioners watch this.
If a person was a monstrance, we would be staring at the belly. But that's just not how we do things because it's dumb. It's just too dumb.
Yeah, I think it's as dumb as doing it anyway in the normal way that we did it.
Taylor, you're allowed to leave Mass whenever you want to, as long as you never ask me this question again. Just go.
This is great. All of my depression is gone. It's still hot, but I'm so happy right now. I haven't felt this much genuine joy. I almost passed out from laughing too hard. I ran out of air. I froze you. This is an audio medium, and you were silent for 30 seconds, and I could see you laughing, and it sounds like your internet cut out. It was just your brain.
Broken. Because normally when you give like your weird questions and stuff, I'm like, but this one I kind of get it. Like I'm like a third on your side, and it's driving me crazy that I'm like a third on your side. Like, yeah. Man. I'm glad my day's off tomorrow because I'm gonna need a while to process this.
Yeah, it's all I want you to think about every time you do adoration from now.
It's going to. You know what's gonna happen? It's definitely like next few times. Then like I'll forget about it, and like 2 months down the road, I'll be at adoration, and I'll just see you rubbing your belly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The sole moment I want you to think about it is whenever you lift up the monstrance to do the best.
It's definitely gonna happen. Definitely gonna happen. I'm gonna be so angry.
Oh man. So this is why I asked the question earlier in Mass of what do normal people do during Mass, because this is all I do. It's literally all that runs through my head is everything we've just spoken about for the last, I don't know, hour-ish or so.
I mean, at least it was somewhat Jesus themed, I guess. It could be worse.
Okay, you cut out for a long time.
I don't know, Taylor.
You cut out for a long time.
And now the internet's actually going out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just, yeah.
Are you back?
Yes. It said my internet connection was unstable for a while because my brain's unstable.
Yeah.
My heart's unstable.
Whatever
my
I
soul's
say
unstable. Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I got. I got nothing. I'm done.
All right. Let me find a way to get us out of this. All right, well, that's our show. That's all I have. That's all I think about when I'm at Mass. So if you're a normal Catholic and want to tell me what you do during Mass, because, Father's the priest and he has active things to do. We're all just sitting there. If you're a normal Catholic, tell me what you do during Mass. What I do during Mass is all of the stuff we just talked about. So I hope that the next time you're praying in Mass, you think of me, chuckle, and then please, for the love of God, pray for me because I don't know what I'm doing.
That's a good request.
And pray for Father Anthony the next 19 times that he does adoration. And I won't say what for. Just pray for him. You decide how you like
you
to pray
pick
for
one.
him.
Dealer's choice. Pray for whatever for me. I don't care.
Oh, a baseball reference. That was good. Way to go. Full circle. No. There's a better way to say that. You hit a home run. You circled the bases. All right, I'm going to be done with this, and ironically enough, I'm going to go watch an Astros game. I'm Taylor Schroll. I'll be back next week. He's Father Anthony. And if he's not broken enough, he'll be back next month. See ya! Thanks for watching and listening to today. If you enjoyed today's episode, then you're our kind of people, because that was one of my favorite episodes we've done in quite some time. Wherever you're watching or listening, make sure you hit subscribe. If you want to support the work that we are doing, fortecatholic.com/donate. Love you.